Welcome to your safe space, the podcast your partner, friends, parents, whoever thinks it's dirty. Don't have time to read books? Want to understand all the jokes in the TikToks? We got you, fam. We're the Spice Traders, and we deal in spicy books. I'm Katie, and I need it to make sense.
I'm Liz, and I'm hypercritical.
Before we get to today's episode, we want to encourage you to check out our Patreon, where we publish extra episodes every other week, as well as ad-free versions of our regular feed episodes. Also, any series we read past the first book, all that coverage is Patreon only, so think series like ACOTAR, Fourth Wing, Guild. Anyway, we really appreciate the support and encouragement to continue doing something we love and sharing it with you.
Thanks in advance for checking that out. As always, we start this episode with 3 things. First is a generic trigger warning. You can find specific triggers for this book in our show notes, so please check those out. We also use foul language and talk a lot about sex. If you have sensitivity to either of those things, our podcast probably isn't for you.
Second, our episodes talk about books, the whole book, nothing but the book, so help me goddess. If you don't want something spoiled, don't listen to this episode.
And finally, we acknowledge that a good book can hit you at the wrong time. Our views discussed in our episodes are our opinion, and we don't want to diminish the work or the talents of the authors in our community. That said, we have some notes.
What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about Sabotage by Shantel Tessier. This was published in 2022, and it is a standalone novella within the Lord's universe. So we previously covered the first Lord's book, The Ritual, but this is, I think all of those books are vaguely interconnected, but like you can read them in any order. And this one's very much just like a standalone. It's not, it's within the universe, but like our main character is not a lord. He just works for them, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
That was a lot of exposition that I didn't need to give, but here we are.
No regrets.
No regrets. This book is 229 pages long, and that's a shorty. It also really flies by. Like, it feels even shorter than that.
There's a lot of sex.
Because, honestly, if I had, like, the time or energy, I kind of want to count what percent of those pages are sex scenes. And I might go back and do that because I'm curious, but it's got to be, like, 65%.
Yeah. Honestly.
It's just sex.
Yeah.
So there's that. The cover, it looks like there's a couple covers. They're honestly pretty, well, I'm finding 3. But the cover on my KU, it's really simple. It's like a red and white background with what looks like shattered glass and like a lipstick kiss. It's fine. It honestly kind of tells me exactly what we're getting into. It is what it is. And then the other cover is like black and white. It looks like kind of an open doorway of like people getting it on. And then there's like a sex tape with a kiss on it. And the little tagline of "He ruins everything" and a heart, which is more on the nose. I honestly don't hate either of them. Like,
no.
They're fine.
Yeah. Yeah, they are a little bit like you're reading chick lit kind of thing.
Yes.
But like,
yes.
That's fine. They're vibey. It fits in the universe. Like, I do appreciate that all of her books in this like series kind of have the same vibe. They're not the same by any measure, but like they have the same like tone, color, like vibe going on. Just like a little edgy. So, you know, I'm not mad about it.
I'm not mad about it either. I'm here for it. It was not offensive in any way. So let's get into it. Katie, why don't you kick us off?
All right. So this is shorty. So we're just going to do it all in one shot, one kill. And also, as we've alluded to, it's kind of like on plot. So yeah, we'll just get into it. It is on KU, which is great for those of you who participate. And it does have some characters from the Lord series that we've already covered before, but like honestly, half the people that show up in this book don't need to be there. So don't feel like you're missing anything.
And honestly, even like the Lords we get, it's almost like an Easter egg. If you've read it, you're like, oh, Tyson. But like if you didn't read it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. We do get a couple of things before we get into the book. We get a playlist. I knew some of the bands on here, but I didn't know any of the songs specifically. And I like this book does the thing where she like calls out the song that you're supposed to be listening to in the scene, which you can always miss me with that, honestly.
I don't like it. I hate it. It's the same vibe as naming like a real brand to me, and I just don't like it. Just describe the beat to me. I've gone down this rant before, but don't tell me like it's this song by Hollywood Undead. I'm like, okay.
Okay, cool. I don't know that song. I'm also not going to go and listen to it. So like this is just
No.
effectively like useless information.
Yes, but cool.
But cool. So there's that if you're into that. It's short because this is such a short book. I think there's like 6 songs on it, which I did appreciate.
Yeah.
She's not like, here's a 32 song playlist for this very short book.
It'll take
Great.
you longer than it takes you to read.
Yeah. We also get a trigger list, which like we'll include the triggers in a little bit more straightforward language in our show notes. But the thing about this trigger list is that I have to like look it up. So like one specific trigger says, quote, the H ends up with 1 H. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I thought it was a dirty sex thing. And I'm like, you're gonna literally write explicit sex and then not be explicit about the trigger warnings. Like, what are you saying?
Yeah, I hated that. Well, the thing that bothers you about that one is other ones have the description. So like it says OTTH, but then it says over the top. So it told me what that is. But you didn't tell me what the H ends up with 1 H, which we looked it up. The little H is heroine. The big H is hero. So our FMC ends up with the MMC. That's literally all that means, which like just say happily ever after.
Right. Say happily ever after. And then also gross about the little H versus big H, the patriarchy.
The fucking patriarchy of it all. I know. I really hate that. I will say in the trigger list, one thing I do appreciate about this author, she gives you explicit trigger warnings, but she says sabotage may contain triggers for some. If you've never read a dark romance, please don't start with this one.
Yeah, this is not a good place to start. Like,
no,
you gotta wade into it.
It was making me think about when we read Haunting Adeline, and like honestly, that's like a nothing burger compared to this.
Yeah, honestly, Haunting Adeline I think is a good start to a dark romance because it introduces the like concepts of dark romance in a relatively accessible and like fine way. Like, I don't know. I would not say that that's the dirtiest book I've ever read.
No, and like this book's way dirtier.
Honestly. Anyway, so there's that. We're just gonna get into it. We have a prologue. Huh?
There's one thing I want to say before the prologue is we get like a little epigraph from our FMC, but I honestly think the whole point of it is to tell us how to pronounce her name, and I didn't pronounce her name that way. So her name's Rayleigh, but it's spelled phonetically like little R-A-Y, capital L-E-E, like it's Rayleigh. I didn't say it that way. I said Rayleigh.
Yeah, I said Rayleigh too. Rayleigh. I don't know.
I hate it. I don't like it.
Feels weird.
It feels weird.
Yeah, Rayleigh is how I said it in my head. Which like
yeah,
I'm gonna say it like that because I would trip over saying Rayleigh. No, now I'm just getting into the weeds about it.
I know, and I think that's the purpose that this served, and I appreciated that was a clever way to do that, I guess. But I was like, but that's not her name for me,
right? Right. So we get a little bit. This book starts at 100 and then like just doesn't go anywhere else from there. So we start with the prologue, and it's cold open, mid scene with Colton, our male main character, and he's got a woman on her knees, and she's doing her thing in between his legs, and we get seated enough detail here to assume that this is the female main character, Rayleigh, and it is. And Colton tells us in his internal monologue, quote, "We are hate sex at its finest." So like, that's what I mean by it starts at 100. We don't get the ramp. Like they've been doing this for a while and they're like really entrenched in like, oh, we just hate each other. And we also have sex because it's good. That's what we do.
Yeah. And it's like filthy from the get-go. Like you already get the immediate degradation. Like I think he like spits in her mouth or on her face, like comes on her or whatever. I don't remember the order of the scenes because like they're all explicit,
they're all kind
but
of
like
the same.
He comes on the ground and like makes her lick it up. Like it's that vibe from like page 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome.
Welcome. Yeah, I think the thing about this too is that even though we don't get a whole lot of like the Lord's organization like in here, the relationship dynamic is still very similar, right? Like so Colton in his internal monologue in this scene has decided that like he owns this person, right? Like in a very Lord-esque way.
Yeah.
So if you're into that, keep going. If you're not into that, don't.
Stop now. I was into it, so hey.
I was into it. Yeah, I mean, so we go from that seemingly innocuous scene pretty quickly to 1,000. So we started at 100 and we go to 1,000 because we find out that they have an audience. They're in the dining room and there are other dudes watching. And then that turns into group sex pretty fast.
Yep.
And so it's the whole like edging thing, right? Like Colton tells Rayleigh that she's not allowed to orgasm while these guys are like having their way with her. She's super into that. And by the time like these other 3 guys are done, she's like delirious with like trying to not orgasm and really wanting to.
Yeah. And I notably said this in our debrief, but Colton's kind of pissed at himself for like letting his friends have her. Like, he does not like that she's super turned on by this.
Right. And like we talked about this at length in our debrief. Like it kind of felt like a the cat's out of the bag now, right? Like you can't put the genie back in the bottle kind of thing. Like this, whoops, I guess.
Yeah, I listen.
Yeah.
And they all really like it too.
They all really like it too. And then we get this scene later where Colton's like, "You're never gonna have any other dick but mine." And I'm like, okay, so the group sex thing was really only the one-time thing. Got it.
Which is okay, cool, fine, I guess. But also, these 5 individuals live together, so like,
right. Good luck with that, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, I just have one thing to say because, I mean, these guys are all playboys. They're all like banging all the time. At least that's what we're led to believe. But one of them, doesn't matter which one, these 3 people are interchangeable to me, goes to the kitchen to get canola oil. And I'm like, you can't tell me you don't have a single bottle of lube in this whole house. Dude,
oh my God. That felt the same as like the holy oil or whatever in Priest.
Yes. Yes.
Or the olive oil in the one after Priest.
Yes. I'm like, just listen, just buy a bottle of lube, or at least, at the very least, I feel like use coconut oil because like that it's relatively body safe. I don't think canola oil is. I've never looked it up.
Well, no. Yeah, no. I don't remember why, but it's not recommended to use. It's like,
or
please
just
use coconut oil.
Yeah, or just say oil. Lube. You don't have to tell me it's canola oil, which is a name brand. That's fucking weird.
So yeah, this was a wild way to start the book, and I think it really sets the tone for like what we're signed up for. So if you weren't into the scene and you started reading this book, like that is the book. So sorry about it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you get what you're here for.
In this scene, it's pretty clear that like at some point, Rayleigh and at least Colton were being recorded. And so the next thing we see is Rayleigh, and she's fucking mad because that video has been posted online, which is really fucked. Like, not okay.
Yeah. Well, and I was a little confused, but the video I think is just the blowjob scene. It's not the group sex scene.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And that was a little bit unclear to me.
Yeah.
For most of the book, honestly.
Yeah, I wish that was made a little more clear. And weird, I feel like the blowjob scene was, I don't know.
It's just a blowjob.
Compared to everything else, pretty innocuous.
But yeah, I mean, pretty regular, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay. Which I think makes the reaction of, like, we'll get into it, but it makes Nate's reaction, like, even weirder. Like, okay, cool. Like, your current girlfriend gave a past boyfriend, like, a blowjob. Get over it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So anyway, Rayleigh's pissed. She shows up at Colton's house, and that's also her house because she lives there because Colton decided that that's what she was going to do. And she sets Colton's Lamborghini on fire. And I thought this was really funny because she tries to like break into the car using a metal baseball bat, and she like has to hit it 3 times because the first 2 times she hits the car, the bat just bounces off.
Does not
I don't know if that's how car works.
Funny. I thought it was good comedic relief, and I feel like so realistic. Like, she's just a girl.
She's just a girl, yeah. But the funny thing is, like, she like breaks the window. She reaches in, and the car's like already unlocked. She didn't need to break the window to get into it.
It's just the dramatic of it all.
Just dramatic, yeah. So, like I mentioned, the reason for the arson is because Colton posted the sex tape online, right? And this is when we get like more information about like why these two are together. We know that they're stepbrother and stepsister, but we get more information. So we learned that their parents found love. Her mom was like a diner server and his dad is a billionaire, and he just happened to sit, you know, at her mom's table, and they fell in love, and like 6 weeks later they were married. Cool.
Adorable.
All right. They've been hooking up secretly for 5-ish years, and their parents are completely oblivious, or that's what we're led to believe.
I don't buy it, but okay. I did appreciate that they met as like teens, right? So their parents didn't get married when they were like little kids. They got together when they were 16 and 17. And I did appreciate that because it helps a little bit on the grooming side, but we'll still get into the grooming about it.
Yeah. There's a lot there. Anyway, they live near Barrington University in Pennsylvania. And Colt lives with 3 of his best friends also, which, like, we have a lot of thoughts about this. We don't know if these guys also have trust funds or if they're just freeloaders. These guys are, like, the other thing that wasn't clear to me is that they've already graduated college. They act and live like they're in college still, like they have nothing to do but party. But that's not the case. They have a job. It's not, they aren't lords, but they work for the lords as basically glorified thugs. They call themselves assassins. Okay.
Like, all right. And are you doing this for fun? Are you doing it for money? Why? How did you even get into this?
Well, yeah, and they all went to Barrington University, and I thought that Barrington University was only for lords, and we learned that Cliff, who is Colt's dad, got Rayleigh into Barrington College too. So I'm like, so is Cliff a lord? Like, I don't like what.
That's where the whole like hired thugs thing didn't make sense to me, because I don't think they're all lords of Barrington, but like all lords come from Barrington.
Yeah,
it seems. And so if you're already the son of a billionaire, like why were you not a lord from the get-go?
Right. Are you not enough of a billionaire? You're not close enough to a trillionaire yet?
Yeah. Like what? I don't know. And you get, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter. We're really overthinking it, and that's fine.
That's who we are.
That's who we are. So Rayleigh's more upset about this, not because, and we kind of have to read between the lines here. It's not because she cares necessarily that people are seeing. It's that she doesn't want to have to explain the video to her current boyfriend, a guy named Nate. And she's actually just come from a date with Nate as she's setting the car on fire, right? So Colt comes out, sees his car's on fire, is mad, but, you know, makes the decision with the guys that they're not going to make Rayleigh pay for this until, you know, at least a day later, because he says they have lunch with their parents the next day, and he wants more time than that to, like, get back at her or whatever. Obviously, the undertone here is that they want to get back at her sexually.
Yeah.
So we learn as Rayleigh walks into the house that she stole Nate's phone so he wouldn't see the video, which is why he proceeds to show up at the house that night as the car is on fire and like is looking for his shit. He's like, do you have my phone? I lost it at dinner. Like, we need to figure this out. And Rayleigh has this interaction where she's just like, I really don't need this right now. Like, why are you here?
Can you go, please? Because it's clear that Rayleigh really does not have serious feelings for Nate. He's just a guy.
Yeah, he's just a guy. But since he's here, she's like, okay, well, why don't we have sex about it? And so they do.
Yeah.
Cool. In this scene, it's fine. It's really like, even in the scene, Rayleigh's like, yeah, I mean, like, Nate's got a nice dick, but he doesn't know how to use it. Like, he doesn't want to give me the kind of like sex that I want, which is she likes it rough, very much like the scene that we started with. And so she doesn't get off when they have sex. So in the middle of the night, she decides to take a shower, and of course, Colt shows up and gives her the sex that she needs or wants. Or both.
Hey.
For growth. For the plot. And it's the whole thing of like, you know, the bathroom's right next to her bedroom where Nate is sleeping. And so there's like the be quiet, like, we don't want to get caught kind of thing. Or you don't want to get caught because you don't want your boyfriend to know that you're fucking some other guy. That whole thing. It's hot.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's great. I had no notes.
Yeah, no notes. So the next morning, Nate is on his way out the door. And Colt is like, oh, hey, Nate, I found your phone, dude. I also charged it for you. Here you go. Also, you might want to check it because it sounded like there was a lot of messages going off and maybe some kind of emergency was happening. Bye. And so Nate literally walks out the door and 5 minutes later walks back in and like has clearly seen the video. Like, is super mad, calls Rayleigh a whore and a slut. And it's so weird because he's mad, and then Colt and like the other 3 assholes that live there are like kind of standing up for her, like, hey, like we're the only ones that get to call her a whore, dude.
Right? What?
Okay.
Well, even Rayleigh's internal monologue is like, I am a whore, but you don't have to say it like that.
Right. When you say it, it sounds like an insult. When Colt says it, it's hot.
It's hot. I don't understand why Rayleigh doesn't tell him that this happened before they were together.
Right, because the timeline for us is very clear. Like, this happened, and then like maybe a month later, or a week later, she started dating Nate, and they've only been together for 6 weeks. So like, calm down, dude.
It's not like a serious thing. Like, they haven't said I love you.
Even if he said it, she hasn't. Like,
she hasn't, and certainly does not feel it. Right.
So anyway, that relationship is over, and Rayleigh she's not really sure how to feel about it, right? Like, it's not that she's heartbroken over Nate, it's that she didn't have any control over the relationship ending.
Yeah.
Which I get.
Yeah, and I think mostly she's just mad that there's a sex tape that she didn't agree to that's like publicly available.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's also the thing.
Yeah.
Whoops.
She gives Nate like no more thoughts after he leaves.
Okay, but it's also this weird thing of like, because Colt has this other blonde girl that's like
Amy?
There too.
That we never see again.
We don't know how, like, because we see her and Colt having sex like twice. And both times Colt is like bored, like clearly just using this girl to like get back at Rayleigh. And I'm like, you guys are so toxic. Like, just fuck each other and leave other people out of it. Like,
and like, you're having a great time. Like, why don't you just be together? They have this whole weird game that they actually hate each other, but like everybody knows they don't.
Yeah. It's abundantly clear to anybody with eyes.
Yeah.
So anyway, we then jump to the lunch with the parents, right? Which is so stuffy and so weird. There's a couple of things about this that don't make sense.
Yeah. It's super weird.
So they have lunch. Right in the middle of lunch, their mom ostensibly gets a phone call, and she's like, oh, I've been waiting for this call. I have to go take it. We're going to go take this call. We might be a while. And I'm like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah, it's shady.
You don't have to say it like that. And then Colt Rayleigh flees to her bedroom upstairs, her childhood bedroom, and Colt follows her. And then there's this extended like scene with a wine bottle involved. It starts out full, it ends empty, and inside her it is darker, kinkier, just going down the degradation like rabbit hole. And as much as Rayleigh is like outwardly saying no, inwardly in her internal monologue, she's like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I want. Yeah.
So the only thing that stressed me out about this scene was that like he's covering her in wine, and I'm like, you have to go back downstairs.
Right.
Like, do you have clothes here? Like, she does, she changes, but like, that's not suspicious. Like, she takes a full ass shower and like changes and just expects her mom not to question it.
In the middle of lunch? Like, what?
So
I mean, to be
girl.
fair, her parents, I mean, both of their parents are gone for like an hour in the middle of lunch. So like, what really is lunch in this construct?
That's true. But I was like,
but yeah.
All right.
Wine. Okay. But the staff must have wild fucking stories. The staff at the very least know they're fucking, because like, not only is she covered in wine, but like the bed, the room, like the floor has wine on it.
Yeah.
Like, it's
and
gotta
like
smell like sex and wine. Like,
yeah.
Come on.
Well, and he doesn't acknowledge it. I don't know whose scene this is from, because we do like alternate POVs. But like Colton says that like he gets wine all over the front of his pants too, but he doesn't change. So like you're just going downstairs looking like you peed yourself.
He's just going downstairs smelly. Also, it's very clearly Moscato, which like rich people don't drink Moscato. That's
Rich people
disgusting.
do not drink Moscato. Which I will say, to be fair, if if Rayleigh's mom was a diner waitress and she didn't become like rich by association until she was 16, maybe she does like Moscato.
Yeah. I mean, look, I also drank Moscato when I was in college, so like I get it.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place. But
rich people don't have Moscato.
Right, exactly. And also it's sugary and gross and sticky. So you're not just going downstairs smelly and like with a piss spot on your pants, but you also like are sticky.
You're sticky. There's
sickly sweet smelling.
There was a one-liner that I really appreciated from Rayleigh, because it's things that like we typically have to suspend our disbelief, but like he puts the wine bottle in her and she literally says in her initial monologue, like, the UTI I'm definitely gonna get is totally worth it. And I'm like, yeah girl.
Yeah, girl, you're definitely gonna get a UTI because that shit is not clean. I would not.
I would not. I'm here for it in fiction, but like, no thank you.
Yeah, no thank you. So the other thing about this is that I had to willfully suspend my disbelief is that we get a bunch of flashbacks to like why they are the way that they are now. And there's definitely a very heavy grooming overtone here. Because like essentially they meet a couple of weeks before the wedding. They're both in their teens, 16 and 17. Colt immediately is like obsessed. And a little bit after
that obsessed.
Yeah. Like, and like shortly after the wedding, he like basically coerces her into having sex with him, but like she's into it. Like even when in the first scene we see it from her perspective and like she's turned on, she like really likes it. I just had to like not think about it too hard because like she's still a child, he's still a child, and like there's a lot of like problems with that in real life.
Yeah, I had to suspend that. Honestly, I didn't need any of the flashbacks. I don't care how we got to where we are. And they really don't lend anything to the characters anyway. Like, I know who these people are.
Right. I didn't need to know that. The only thing that was like mildly like important to the plot, I guess, is that we learned that part of the reason that Colton is like spurned to try to have sex with her is that he learns that at a party, some other guy named Mike took her virginity and then like didn't go through with it the whole way because like she was a virgin and she bled all over his dick.
Which like, what a little bitch.
What a little bitch. And then to your point, because we were talking about Mike at length in the debrief, like that tells me everything about who Mike is. That's all I need to know.
Exactly. I didn't need more than that.
Right. So the other thing that we learn about this scene after they've kind of done the deed, she's showered, they come back down to lunch, their parents are back at some point, but they didn't. So somewhere between like them finishing sex, Colton goes downstairs first, smelling like Moscato and sex, parents come back, and then Rayleigh comes back showered and like not smelling like sex but weirdly showered
in different clothes,
and their parents are acting weird. I for sure thought that this phone call was like a cancer plot line that was like going to come back up. It feels like it was planted there when this book was going to be longer than a novella and then just was never taken out.
Yeah, and it does feel really out of place for that. Because right now it just serves as a plot device to get the parents out of the room so that like they can go upstairs and have sex.
Right.
Which could have just happened at like a different time.
It could have happened at like a different time. You could have done that in any different way, but okay, fine.
Their parents don't need to exist other than like background. Really this is how we met.
That's exactly right. Their parents are in two scenes, like literally back to back, and that like I don't need those scenes. Like you could have shortened this book by 30 pages by just taking out those scenes.
Yeah, easy.
So the other thing that we learn in the scene is that Colton is not only actively lying to his dad about fucking his stepsister, but actively lying about why he doesn't have a car because his Lamborghini got set on fire by his stepdaughter because he posted a sex video online, which like brings us back to the other point that we brought up in the debrief. How do you not know?
We learned that there's like 6 million views or something on this video, and like how there's no way that never popped up for their parents. And I thought that's what that phone call was about, but like they don't know or they don't care.
Yeah. It just feels weird. It's almost like they're making the assumption that their parents are like chronically offline.
Yeah, but even that, like, if you're a billionaire, you have staff. Your staff is online.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's kind of what you pay them to do, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, they never find out about the video, so I guess that's that. So they leave, they go home. And at some point, they talk about going to this party. Mike's party. Mike, the guy that took Rayleigh's virginity and then was a little bitch about it, right? Colton's like, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, why are you going to parties? Like, is this what people do in real life when you're rich and you don't have to have any job?
Maybe. Also, so like we'll get into the next scene that like really only matters to tie this into the Lord series. But the timing here really confused me because they're like, there's a party at Mike's tonight. We should go. Rayleigh will be there, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, fine. And then they like do a different thing. And the party's an entirely different night. And it was like really confusing to me.
I had that same thing, and I was like almost wondering if this was a flashback, but like it's happening in the same time frame because then what's his face? Tyson shows up later. Like
exactly.
Yeah, I too was frustrated. Not frustrated. I too was confused. And then I realized that I didn't care.
Exactly. And I was like, and I didn't care. And the next scene, I don't need. Yeah. We could like super truncate this whole thing.
Yeah. So anyway, this party, right? Like Colton doesn't want to go. And then hears that Rayleigh is going to be there with her friend Tatum. Fine. And he's like, okay, great. I'll go too. And this is really like, he's going because nobody can leave each other alone and we can't have nice things. And that's really kind of why this book is the way that it is.
Yeah, exactly. Also, like, you're mad at this guy, Mike, for something that happened 6 years ago that hasn't happened again. Like, I need you to get over it.
I need you to get over it, dude. Like, I don't have time.
No.
Okay. So this is where we get the part where Colton and his like posse aren't just rich boys, or I guess at least one rich party boy and three freeloaders. They also work for the Lords by killing people, which is weird because I thought the Lords were the people that killed people.
Yeah.
Which is it?
I don't know. I didn't think the secret society of assassins needed their own like private assassins or jobs they don't want to do, I guess.
I know. Well, and it's so weird because like they're like, oh yeah, we're assassins, we kill people, blah blah blah, we get paid good money for it. And I'm like, do you need to get paid good money for it, or are you just doing this for fun? Also, don't get it twisted, you guys are glorified thugs. Like there's nothing about what you're doing here that I would call an assassination.
No, you are hired hands.
Yeah, hired hands. So they take this guy out. There's this whole kerfuffle with like a daughter who shows up. It doesn't matter. The daughter might be just like a crossover person. I don't know the series well enough to like confirm that, but it was just like, oh, there's this extra character here. Fine, cool. We don't need that actually at all. Yeah. But the guys that hired them are Tyson and Riot. So Riot is actually the male main character in the first book. And then Tyson shows up later. He's basically the fixer that works at the club. Cool. Why are they killing these guys? I don't know. I don't care. I didn't read it that closely. Anyway, moving on. Back to the party, which is either on that night or on a different night.
I think it's a different night because they get home at like 2. It doesn't matter. But the timing was so confusing.
Right. So they get to the party. There's this whole thing with Tatum, Rayleigh's only friend, and it doesn't matter because she's kind of a dumb bitch. I say that with love, but like,
yeah, but
honestly.
Like girls dumb. Also incest spaghetti because like Tatum is one of Colton's friend's sisters.
Yeah, like why do they have to be which friend? Not one of the friends that are there, like that we meet. So that like
it is. It's Alex.
Oh, it's Alex's sister.
Yeah, because there's this one liner where it was like Tatum wasn't even mad at me for fucking her brother. She was just grossed out, and I was like, okay,
wow, I missed that.
I didn't
clearly
need that.
Reading this book really closely.
Listen, certain things stood out in my brain hole, and I don't know why. That was one of them. Because I was like, I don't need this like connection.
I don't need this. Why are you telling me this information? Okay, wow. So yeah, Tatum, incest spaghetti, doesn't need to be related, is for some reason cool. Great. They go to the party. It's Mitch's party, not Mike's party. It doesn't matter. They're twins. Mitch is a nice guy. Mike is not a nice guy. I don't know why there's 2 of them. Fine.
2 of them because Mitch doesn't matter. Mike could have been here the whole time.
I just look. So Tatum ends up leaving because her cheating ass boyfriend Billy shows up with another girl and he convinces her to go somewhere and talk privately. Cool. That means that Rayleigh is there alone and you'll never guess who shows up. Nate.
Who could it be?
Who could it be? And Nate is a completely different guy. He's been trying to text her and like get her to talk to him about like the breakup and the sex tape and things, but she's just been ghosting him. which is fine. Totally her prerogative. And that's what she says at the party. She's like, when I want to talk about this with you, I will, but that's not right now. And he gets like physical and like tries to forcibly drag her out of the party. And I'm like, this is the guy that doesn't even want to be rough and sex. And he's suddenly like being physical with this girl.
Yeah. The departure from his personality didn't make sense to me. And this, to that point, I don't understand if like his revenge plot was already like kind of at play here, or if it's because of what happens next, but I don't think it is.
Right. Because like, what was he going to do? Like just go out and like have like a very strongly worded conversation with her like in the parking lot? What's happening?
Exactly. Or is it like, my ex-girlfriend made a sex tape, so I'm going to go murder her now? Like, that's okay. We're going to go 0 to 60, and that's fine, but that's not who he was.
Well, and also, like, you made a sex tape fully before she was dating you, dude. So, like...
Why will no one tell Nate that? I think he deserves to know.
I just don't understand. Anyway, she is saved from this because Colton and his posse show up. So, like, Colton takes her upstairs. They have a little bit of like a a hot and steamy scene, right? Where Rayleigh's like, we shouldn't do, like, what the fuck what is happening? And then but she, gets hot and bothered and gets into a scene. And in this scene, Colt is basically like, look, I don't know what you're doing with Nate, but you and I should be exclusive. Like, we should have a truce, right? Like, stop trying to this war of attrition and just like tit for tatting. Like, I want you, you want me. Let's just admit it and just do that thing. And I'm like, okay, cool. So this is the first Lord's book. Got it.
Yeah, and from here on out, it's the first Lord's book.
Yeah. Colton's like, for going back to Nate, I should embarrass you. Do you want me to like humiliate you in front of all these people? And she says yes. And so rather than doing that at the whole party, they get dragged to like, I guess either a pool house or a next door house because the twin brothers live right next door to each other in the same compound. I don't know. There's less people here.
Yeah. And like, it's also kind of under construction. So there's like duct tape and nail guns, which will matter later.
Right. Cool. So in this construction zone / place, it's Colt and Rayleigh and then the 3 other chucklefucks that they live with, and then also Nate, and those 3 other chucklefucks are like keeping Nate in a chair, and this is where Colt like does the degradation humiliation thing that Rayleigh likes, and basically he just fucks her in front of the 4 other dudes, and their 3 roommates are getting off, and at some point Colt is like, okay, great, have fun with him. And at this point I thought the 3 dudes who were getting off watching Colt and Rayleigh were gonna go rape Nate.
Yeah, I thought so too, and I still feel bad saying this, but I honestly feel like that would have made what happens next make more sense.
Yeah, so that doesn't, and like fully I would not want to read that. I would want that to happen off screen. But
yeah, I don't want
that's not what happens. They just ejaculate on his face.
Which is gross.
Yeah, which is gross.
And humiliating. But like, I still don't think it warrants a murder plot.
I don't either.
Spoilers.
But that's what happens. And then we kind of don't know like where that goes from there, because Colt takes like a half delirious Rayleigh, who's also very drunk, home.
And they just leave Nate like tied to a chair in a room alone. That's all we know.
For someone else to find.
Anything could have happened, I guess. Also, just like as a side note, he carves his name into her ass.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, with like a knife or a razor, which was...
Yeah. No.
Consent is cool.
Consent is cool. So... Okay, so that's the thing. So they wake up the next morning and she's like, why does my ass hurt? And then she's like, why the fuck did you carve your name into my ass? You were fucking psycho. And he like rips his shirt open and he's like, carve your name into my chest, baby. I'm like, her name is significantly longer.
I know. You should carve all 6 letters right into his chest.
Right into her chest.
So I feel like that she's just like, I won't be doing that.
I won't be doing that. And he says, quote, let the world see how much you love me. And she's like, wait, excuse me. What the fuck is with the L word? I don't love you. What are you talking about?
Don't even like you.
I don't even like you. We've just decided to stop like actively sabotaging each other so we could just get to the fucking, right? Like skip the foreplay kind of thing. There's nothing about that screams love to me, but okay.
No.
she reads in his manipulation, says she doesn't love him, and bolts, right? And Colton is like gutted
Surprised
somehow.
by this.
He's like,
Idiot.
She rejected me. I'm like,
Okay, my guy.
Drama queen. You had to rein it back,
He's
dude.
such a drama queen.
Right. And he's like, well, fine, you can just go, and I'm not gonna look for you. And I'm like, okay. Right.
Yeah, right. How long will that last? Also, you live together, so like she'll be back.
Right, exactly. She like literally all of her shit is with you. So Rayleigh's driving, she's upset, and then this truck tries to run her off the road and then like forces her to like rear end it, like essentially coerces her into an accident. And it's a bad enough accident that like the airbags go off, and so she gets this like horrible bruise on like her sternum from the seatbelt, and like the airbags are like they punched her in the face. And it becomes obvious pretty quickly that the person who did this was Nate, and he was just in a different truck to trick her. So he takes her out of her car, the wreck of her car, puts her in the truck, and drives her someplace while she passes out.
Yeah, he takes her back to Mike's house for some fucking reason because he wants to like do it at the scene of his own humiliation, like a weirdo.
Like a weirdo? Yeah, but this is just this is just the plot of the first Lord's book. Like
It really is.
copy and pasted and shorter, which is fine. Like I'm not complaining, but like
I mean, I
I've
still
read this book
enjoyed it.
before.
Yeah, I was just like, okay. And the stakes weren't high to me. Like I knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah. So, like you said, Nate wants revenge on Rayleigh for what happened to him and wants to do it in the same spot. And he's also a little bit disgusted with himself because watching Colton and Rayleigh turned him on. And so that's why he's punishing Rayleigh, ostensibly. Fine. And
Maybe
also
he
he couldn't
just
take on 3
tried
guys
it.
at once.
He can't take on 3 guys at once. 4 guys at once.
Yeah. Right. So at some point, Rayleigh's like in and out of consciousness. This is before like things get really bad, and Mike comes back. Mike, the bad twin, I guess. And Nate's like trying to convince Mike that like they could do this together. They could like essentially rape her and then kill her, cut her up into pieces, and then put her body in the woods. And I'm like, this is where I was like, whoa, Nate. Like,
I know.
holy
Like
shit.
I wish we had any inkling that like Nate was a psychopath until this point because I just don't believe that what happened to him is enough. Dude, I
Right.
get that you're humiliated, my guy. I get it. But like, whoa.
You were the guy who wouldn't be rough with her in bed because you didn't like it. And so now
He
you're going
told
to
her
tell
to
me
stop. Like, he literally told her to stop scratching him because it was too rough. And now you're going to cut her up, but you couldn't handle being scratched.
I mean, look, I get it. Always choose the bear. I'm here. I just, from
Yes.
a believability perspective, this character arc makes no fucking sense.
That's the thing. Am I surprised that a man would do this? No. Am I surprised
No.
that Nate would do this? Kind of.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Because he's a blank slate.
he's a beige crayon. Anyway, Rayleigh knows that Colt like kills people, and so she tells Nate when he comes back, like they're gonna come and get you, and like it's gonna be a problem for you. And he's like, yeah, whatever. So Nate sets up his phone to record what happens next, and he's intending to send it to Colton. And what happens is that he starts raping Rayleigh. Rayleigh fights back, even though her hands are duct taped behind her back. She like headbutts him, gets him bloody, fights him across the floor, and eventually gets a hold of a nail gun and then brutally kills Nate with a nail gun. She like gets him in the chest a couple of times, gets him in the cheek, and then when he's like lying on the ground, she gets him in the back of the head, which was metal as fuck. And then she goes into full shock.
Yeah, she shuts down entirely.
Yeah.
I was here for the whole nail gun of it all. I was like, yeah, get him.
Yeah, me too. I was like that. I mean, look, if this is the guy if this is really what he's doing, fuck him up.
Exactly. And I did like that Rayleigh gets to do this and Colton doesn't just save the day. Like he does later,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I'm glad that she got to do that herself.
yeah, me too.
So Mike comes back, finds Rayleigh, and is like, Jesus fucking Christ. So he calls Colton, and Colton's like, why are you calling me? Gives him a reason. They all show up, him and his entire posse, and then they're just like, whoa, what the
happened?
fuck? Jesus Christ.
What's going on here?
So they take care of everything. They make sure that the cars are all like sorted, and then they take Nate to the cathedral where the lords like hide everything, and they like bury Nate in the cemetery. They have one of the other lords who's a doctor look at Rayleigh. and like treat her a little bit. And like everything's fine. Like once Rayleigh comes like back into her body from shock, she's like very pleased to see Colton, but she's like she's a little bit worried that he's going to think less of her because of what Nate did to him or did to her. But Colt tells her that there's nothing that she could do that would make him not love her. And then they go home, and we get some like cleanup scenes, right? Like it's very clear that Rayleigh is struggling with mental health in the wake of what happened to her. She like is going through the stages of grief. She's going through like the stages of like trying to get back into her body kind of thing. We do get a couple more scenes between her and Colt, which are great. In those scenes, they both do say that they love each other, which is nice because we get that full circle, like enemies to lover thing.
Yeah. We also get the nice, like, Colton is trying to be really cognizant of like not traumatizing her further. Cause like they do like rough sex, but she was just raped. Like, so giving her what she like seems to want, but also like, she cries every time. So he's like, but I don't want to hurt you. And I really liked that. The last like couple scenes with them, I was like, this is kind of nice.
Yeah, well, because it really shows that Colt does actually care about her as a person, not just as like a sex toy, which like was always the through line that I needed in the Lord's book anyway.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that I ended up enjoying about this book, because like there was that thing, and so I could wipe away the grooming and like some of the other things that weren't really my bag and kind of just focus on that.
Exactly. It came back around for me.
So we do get a bit of an epilogue,
which is wild.
So fucking wild. So we get a couple of bits of information. Colt has watched the recording that Nate made of the night, and he goes ballistic and like wrecks the living room. And doesn't tell Rayleigh why he has a busted hand about it. But she's not an idiot. She suspects like what happened, but lets it slide. The second thing is that we learned that Mike was less of a good Samaritan than we thought, because one of the cronies like finds texts between Nate and Mike that essentially confirm that Mike came back and found Rayleigh because he was like all in on the plan to take Riley to some cabin in the fucking woods and like rape and murder her with Nate.
Yeah, like for days, where he was like, I just came back to help her. Man, no, not true.
Okay. And then so Rayleigh doubles down on her trauma, and like the guys have Mike strung up in the Lord's cemetery, and Rayleigh comes in with a nail gun and tortures him, like shoot nails into his dick and then killing him with it. I
understand that this is a trauma response, and like Rayleigh even says in her internal monologue, like she's excited she gets to take her time because like with Nate she was just panicking. But I didn't need this as an epilogue. I could have just had like one more nice scene. This was crazy to me.
Yeah, I'd like it. Also feel like, okay, so I know that there's like in the Lord's thing, right? Like we saw in Riot's book, I really forget the female main character's name in that book, but like she went through so much trauma, and they're like, but we're doing this to you because you are a Lord's wife, right? Like you have to be hard, right? Like you have to be a ice cold bitch. Like Rayleigh is just some girl married to a thug. Like she doesn't have to do this, and it feels like the same thing of like
with it.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, you got to murder somebody to be a part of the club. Like there's no club here that Rayleigh's trying to be a part of.
No, and also like I want to know what that conversation was of Rayleigh has zero. Okay, kill the rapist, 100%.
Yeah,
but like none of her trauma response has to do with now being a sudden murderer, and I just feel like now being a double murderer. The one, self-defense, totally earned. Mike is strung up in a tree.
Yeah. That's a little different.
We could go to the police. Like this wasn't a Lord's thing. Like he could go through the normal sequence of events.
You
for
could,
punishment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So she just has no qualms about like just being a murderer now. I'm like, I don't.
I think the other thing is, go ahead.
I was going to say, the series almost equates like if you're into BDSM, you're cool with murder, and I'm like, those aren't the same thing.
Yeah, it's not the same thing. And also like, so they made the choice and they killed Mike while he was strung to a tree, but he was already in jail. So like he has what I'm sure is a parole officer that he needs to check in with, and he's not going to. And so that's going to cause more questions about Mike. So yeah, even if you didn't engage the police are going to come around asking questions anyway.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. So anyway, that's where the book ends.
That's it.
That's it.
That's the story.
So that's right. So how do we rate the spice?
We both gave it a 4. I mean, we get a lot. It's definitely a departure from what we've been reading recently. It's certainly not vanilla. We get the group sex, we get like the degradation, we get like all the things that we haven't been reading. We get some of the restraint that we didn't really lean on, but that's, happening as well. Honestly, no notes. Most of this book is sex.
Most of this book is sex, and I had a great time. The only reason it's not a 5 for me is because of the like grooming undertone that I was just like, eh. Like I did have to wall off that side of the story for me to enjoy it. But like if that wasn't there, it would have been a 5 for me.
Yeah, that was my only withholding too.
Yeah, this book is kind of the definition of like very little thoughts, all sex.
Yeah, and that's what we signed up for, so I'm not mad about it.
I'm here for it. That takes us into writing style. We both rated it a 3. We're not reading Charles Dickens over here. I don't feel evangelical about the writing. There were a couple of things that were clunky and just like the pronouns were like mixed up. So it would be like, Rayleigh is doing something and the author referred to her as a he or something like that. And that was just a little bit confusing.
Yeah, once Colt's name is spelled wrong once, where it's Cole, Cole, and I was like, who the fuck is Cole?
Right, who the fuck is this guy? So that was just a little bit, took me out of the fantasy. Moving into quality of storytelling, how do we rate that?
We also gave it a 3. It's a 3 for if we hadn't read the first Lord's book, like this would have been fine. But the plot is basically the same as the first Lord's book, just a little bit shorter and without the whole like initiation thing. It almost reads as if she wrote this book first and then was like, I'm going to create a larger universe around this. But recycle that plot. That's kind of how it read to me. So it was just like, I've read this before. Some things just like straight up didn't make sense, but I'm not that mad about it.
Yeah.
Didn't ruin my time.
It didn't ruin my time. But in that same thought, like there were definitely things that felt like were included that didn't need to be. Like the parents is a good example. Like half of these fucking characters that are here like don't need to be there. There doesn't need to be 3 roommates. Like I get the group sex thing. Just make them friends, right? Like they don't have to live with you.
They don't have to live in the same house.
That's so weird. So yeah, some of that stuff just, and the whole, I mean, we talked about it at length, but like some of the character arcs just like a little bit unbelievable, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Not what I'm here for. Do we recommend this book?
To the right person, absolutely.
Yeah, to the right person. I would not recommend this like carte blanche to like a coworker, but like if I know that you've read Haunting Adeline and you were like fine with it, cool. Yeah. Send it. Full send.
Go for this. 100%. Yeah. Just read the trigger warnings.
Right. All right, y'all, we did it. Those are our thoughts on Sabotage by Shantel Tessier. Thank you, as always, for joining us on this journey. Let us know what you thought on the socials. You can find us at TikTok, Goodreads, and YouTube at Spice Traders Pod. And if you like our podcast and want more, consider becoming a patron, where we release Patreon-exclusive episodes on our off weeks. And if you really, really like us, drop us a review wherever you listen. Until next time, we'll see ya. Bye.
Bye.